It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend at my lakeside cabin. Just me, a crackling fire, some grilled ribs, and the sound of the water slapping gently against the dock. I'd owned that cabin for years, my quiet escape from city noise and HOA madness. But of course, peace and quiet are two things that Karen can't let anyone have. Karen was the president of the local HOA, a self-appointed guardian of community standards. She was new to the area, having moved into a rental nearby after downsizing from her suburban palace. Within a week, she was handing out fines for grass height, bird feeders, and unsanctioned outdoor furniture. I had no intention of dealing with her nonsense, especially not at my cabin. So, when she showed up uninvited that Saturday morning, clipboard in hand and sunglasses perched like she was the sheriff of the lake, I knew trouble had arrived. "Excuse me," she said, marching up my dock like she owned the place. "You're not allowed to be here. This cabin falls under the jurisdiction of the Lakeshore HOA." I blinked. Ma'am, I've owned this property since 1994. There was no HOA then." She smirked. "Well, there is now. And as president, I'm ordering you to vacate until your ownership can be verified." I laughed. "Verified? I've got the deed framed inside next to the mounted trout." She didn't laugh. "If you don't comply, I'll be forced to call the authorities." Now, normally I'd brush off people like her, but this one had that dangerous mix of arrogance and ignorance. So, I decided to let her hang herself with her own rope. "Go ahead," I said, gesturing toward the lake. "Call whoever you need to." She did. 10 minutes later, 2 patrol cars rolled up, lights flashing. Karen practically sprinted to them, flailing her arms like she was leading a raid. "Officers, he's trespassing on HOA-controlled land." The deputies looked confused. "Ma'am, this is County Road 12 territory, not HOA property." Karen scoffed. No, the HOA recently annexed this land. I have the bylaws." I watched, sipping my lemonade as she handed them a folder stuffed with papers. One deputy flipped through, frowned, and then turned to me. "Sir, do you happen to have proof of ownership?" "Sure do," I said, walking inside. I came back out with a thick binder, my deed, tax records, and the most recent county map. The deputy compared the documents and raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, this cabin isn't under any HOA. In fact," he paused, glancing at the map, "this entire area is marked as private jurisdiction under the County Development Office, and the registered owner of the land." He turned toward me. "Is this gentleman right here?" Karen blinked. "Wait, what?" The deputy continued. "Actually, it says here he owns the whole section, from the highway to the lakeshore. That's roughly 3,200 acres. Her mouth fell open. "That can't be right. No single person can own that much land." I grinned. "Well, technically, you're standing on my dock right now, so unless you're paying rent." The second deputy chuckled. "Ma'am, you're trespassing." Karen's jaw nearly hit the dock. "Trespassing? Me? I called you." "Yeah," said the deputy, pulling out his notepad. "And you just admitted to entering private property and making a false police report." She started backpedaling fast. I didn't know. I thought it was public land." I crossed my arms. "Public land? You posted HOA signs on my mailbox yesterday." Her face turned redder than a stop sign. "That was a mistake." Long story short, the deputies escorted her off my property, but not before writing her up for trespassing and filing a report for harassment. The next week, I got a letter from the county commissioner's office. Turns out, Karen's new HOA had illegally annexed county land, including part of a public boat ramp. She'd filed fake documents trying to expand HOA control for beautification purposes. That didn't go over well with the county. Within a month, her HOA charter was revoked. The land she tried to seize reverted to county control, and several members sued her personally for fraud and misrepresentation. Meanwhile, I was contacted by the county attorney. "Sir, as the largest landholder in this area, we'd like to offer you honorary oversight of the Lakeshore Zoning Committee." In other words, I now officially had authority over the entire lake. So when Karen tried to sneak back in that summer with her pontoon boat, she found a big, shiny new sign at the dock: private property, permission required by county landowner. Below it, I'd added a smaller plaque just for her: unauthorized entry subject to eviction, fines, and public humiliation. To this day, I still sit on that dock, fishing pole in hand, cold drink beside me, and every time I see a boat slow down to read that sign, I can't help but smile. Because the woman who tried to kick me off my land didn't just lose her HOA. She found out I owned the whole county she tried to control. Talk about poetic justice. House collision.